I also think that Marvel is on this journey now of they're trying a bunch of other stuff, and I'm excited for them to see how all that goes, and it's hard to project.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. There have been a bunch of first looks for a bunch of different Marvel projects, from Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars. We even just found out about this canceled Iron Man 3000 series, so we'll explain what's going on, because there's a whole bunch of material here to just pour through. Turns out Marvel had a bunch of plans for Iron Man-based Disney Plus series at one point, and I think we have a pretty good idea of what happened and why they wound up canceling it. You can totally see the Doctor Doom-shaped hole where this TV series used to be in Marvel's schedule a mile away. But it does answer a lot of questions about what they planned on doing with the younger Morgan Stark character, who did have scenes during some recent Marvel movies that just wound up being deleted at the last minute. So Marvel has been trying to do stuff with the Morgan Stark character. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. The other big reminder is that Daredevil Born Again episodes are starting tomorrow as of me posting this video. I'll be doing episode videos week to week, so of course that'll be up as soon as they start releasing them. But if you didn't see it, or you saw some of these scenes, you have no idea what's going on. What is this Iron Man movie, TV show? What's going on here? What is Marvel doing? How come we didn't see these episodes? This is for a canceled Iron Man TV series called Iron Man 3000, which is a reference to his conversation with Morgan Stark when she was younger, when they both said "I love you 3000" to each other. It would have been about the adventures of a slightly older teenage-looking Morgan Stark with an older Pepper Potts, set in the future, like 10-15 years it looks like. So Pepper Potts is in her late 50s, early 60s, not that old, but much older than she is right now. I do not think they would have brought back Catherine Langford as the older Morgan Stark that we saw during that Avengers Endgame deleted scene of Iron Man in the Soul World meeting his future version of his daughter. Just because the Morgan Stark in all these scenes looks much younger, and Marvel already recast Cassie Lang after Avengers Endgame, and they already recast an older version of Billy during Agatha All Along for Young Avengers in an older Tommy suit. Like, they already kind of recast him, but they didn't show his face. But it's not meant to be the same actor as the young Tommy from WandaVision. What it seems like the whole vibe here is that she races cars during the day like her father, Tony Stark, like you remember Iron Man 2 with him literally racing the car. And she just has more Iron Man-based adventures between and sometimes during the races, as we see. Like, you literally see one of Iron Man's armors come and join her on the track, because it seems like she's in the middle of some big battle with one of the villains during the race. Sort of like the time that Iron Man fought Whiplash in the middle of the track during Iron Man 2. They kind of did something like this concept during the Marvel What If episodes when he got stuck on Sakaar. Like, Tony Stark got stuck there instead of Thor and got caught up in all of the Mad Max style drag races, or like the racing they did during Alita Battle Angel. And it just seems like the characters that they were featuring during this are mostly the next generation of characters based on the current Avengers roster. Already mentioned the older version of Pepper Potts. Very clearly it's meant to be Gwyneth Paltrow coming back for the series. This looks like Vi, who's actually Vision's daughter in the comics. He creates her during the Vision Quest comic book by Tom King. They're actually making the Vision TV show a little bit based on that, but changing it from the original comic. So I don't know if he's going to be making Vi during that. There was actually one point during that series where she was supposed to be part of it. We also got a first look at that Vision TV series that they're releasing next year. Like, they're in the middle of making it right now, like they're about to film episodes. This is actually Star-Lord with White Vision, so it seems like they're considering putting Star-Lord for a cameo or crossover into the Vision TV series. They're bringing actual James Spader back as Ultron during that, and we're also supposed to see a version of Jocasta, who they teased way back when Iron Man was looking for new AIs and selected Friday instead of Jocasta. I will do a much larger video just about what's happening during the Vision series, Ultron, Jocasta, all that stuff, Star-Lord, at some point in the next week. But if you look at the names on the cars, it looks like they're referring to Vi's car as Kickstar, like her name during the races is Kickstar. And the one in the red armor suit, I think, is meant to be actual Morgan Stark, like this is her version of an Iron Man suit because of the red iconic Iron Man glasses she's wearing. The name of her car is 3000, like we see in the other pictures, and red for Mustang Red. That's his red color he puts on all of his armors. This whole blue design, though, just might be another iteration what they were considering on doing for the Vi character, but it does look a little bit more like Jocasta in the comics. If you look at this other scene at the announcer here, you can see some of the different names they're using for the actual characters. Like there's Kickstar, Goliath, who is an actual Marvel character, but the way they're positioning them on the series seems like it's completely different from the Goliath of the comics or the current MCU.
Foster! Great. Now I know it's a disaster.
Not totally clear who this other character in the other armor suit is with the shimmering blue AI looking self underneath the mask. This might be another powered character, another mutant-based character from the Iron Man comics or from the larger Marvel comics. Or the future next-generation version of some previous Marvel hero or villain. This big dude in the red, white, and Doom TV shirt obviously sounds like a Doctor Doom Easter egg, but seems like more of a spin on either Red Guardian or John Walker, US Agent, because it feels very Captain America adjacent here with the red, white, and blue, but the giant red star and the fact that he's so chonky, like so huge, just gives a lot of Red Guardian vibes. He might be the character that they're referring to as Goliath on this sheet here, but it sounds like all these are fake names that are just monikers for who their real identities are. Goliath in the MCU movies right now is Lawrence Fishburne's character, who they're basing more on the original comic book Goliath. This dude in the black suit right next to him might be who they're referring to as Brain Eater. That's not a Marvel character, like that's not a name from the Marvel comics, so I'm assuming that he was somebody else from the comics, like some other hero or villain. Not totally sure who this Graviton character is supposed to be, but he is a Marvel character. They used him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. several times. This one is a little more identifiable. This is meant to be a version of Madame Mask, but a younger version from the comics. You can see very comic book accurate gold mask here. The funny thing about this, you might remember this from a couple years ago when I was doing Hawkeye videos. There was a whole deleted subplot and a bunch of deleted scenes from the Hawkeye series where they were turning Kate Bishop's mother into the MCU Madame Mask. She's a totally different character in the comics, but she is a big Kate Bishop villain. Madame Mask is a big Kate Bishop villain. For whatever reason, at the last minute, they changed their plans for that, got rid of all those scenes and storyline. They did post a lot of the deleted scenes with the home video release. But this was part of all those early Disney Plus era problems that Marvel was happening, where there was all these deleted scenes and subplots. It happened during Falcon and Winter Soldier 2, where there was like a whole subplot that they had to delete about a virus because it happened during COVID, so everybody got really worried about that. Generally part of the whole Marvel Phase 4 chaotic era of Marvel. Not unlike all the chaos happening in the DC universe right now too. Speaking of which, thank you to DC Dark Legion for sponsoring this video. It's a free-to-play strategy game available for PC or mobile Android iOS, adapted from Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Metal comic book series. With just one hand on mobile or on your computer, collect resources, train your favorite heroes, and create your own personalized Batcave. Experience unique adventures as you build your dream superpowered team with over 200 heroes and villains to choose from. You take on the task of protecting Gotham City from the threat of the dark multiverse. All featuring characters like the Batman Who Laughs, Superman, Bruce Wayne Batman, Cyborg, a ton more characters from DC lore. When a massive tower rises out of nowhere in the heart of Metropolis, the rest of the world reacts as if it's another one of the crisis events they've seen before. People are concerned but confident Superman and the Justice League will keep them safe, and that's how they feel until Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and several other heroes enter the area around the tower and do not come back. There's a ton of iconic voice actors. Roger Smith from Arkham Origins even came back to do the voice of Batman for this. Pre-registration is now open using my link in the video description below. Players who register now will receive 1 mythic hero from 5 choices, 1 weapon from 5 choices, 10 hero pulls, and a vast amount of cultivation resources when the game officially launches March 14th. Register now to get all that free stuff and have fun playing the game. This announcer character is a human wearing a mask, calling themselves Max Stallions, which feels kind of like a reference to Bill and Ted's Wild Stallions in a Mustang horses reference. Like there are many horses references and racing references, especially in the Twitch chat here too. I'm assuming this Max Stallions character would have also secretly been connected to some big Marvel or Iron Man based villain or hero, because you usually don't put somebody in a mask unless you want them to rip the mask off and reveal that they have some secret connection to some big character. There's a couple other Easter eggs in the Twitch chat too, like Samwise for Lord of the Rings, so in the future, they are still Lord of the Rings fans, pretty easy to assume that, and Nova for the Nova character. Maybe that's more of a Sam Alexander kind of reference. I think he might have actually shown up on the Nova TV series, which they just announced kind of soft got canceled, or at least paused, for several years. We'll see if we ever actually get the Nova series. then I don't know who this man is that's working as part of her pit crew, like her crew chief on the team. I'm assuming based on his age, he's either a new comic book character that hasn't been introduced yet, or, early theory, he might have been an older version of Harley Keener, who's in his 30s, because everybody's been wondering after Avengers Endgame when he came back for that, like the slightly older Harley Keener, wait a minute, is he gonna show up as the new version of Iron Man? Like, wouldn't he just take up the mantle if Tony Stark is dead? Generally all part of the Iron Lad theories in the MCU, at least early on, but when they introduced the Kang character, everyone's like, why don't they just do a more comic book accurate version of Iron Lad, where it's a younger version of Kang, pretending to be a good character. But it does seem like they were planning on picking up on this thread from Harley Keener after Avengers Endgame, like they're going to bring him back into the Marvel stuff. And if you couldn't tell, this is meant to be Iron Man's longtime iconic dummy robot that they kept using for jokes in the Iron Man movies. Bit of an oldie, but a goodie, still bringing that back for Morgan Stark in the future, I guess. There's another scene of what looks like an older Iron Man armor joining her on the racetrack mid-race, probably because she's having some big battle with a villain during the actual race, like Iron Man 2 when he was fighting Whiplash. This other car design behind her also looks much more futuristic. The actual Iron Man armor looks a little closer to a combination of the Mark 85, which was his final armor from Avengers Endgame before he died, combined with the more angular gold designs for the faceplate, in way more gold across the chest and the shoulders, kind of like a combo of the Endgame armor and the older Iron Man 3 Mark 42 armor. If you look at her car really closely too, like zoom in and enhance, you can also see a face inside the rear view visor, which makes it sound like she also would have had her own AI system like Jarvis or Friday. Makes sense that Iron Man's daughter would also have a similar type of AI system. No idea what they would have called that, but my early theory is that when they were conceiving of this series, they were still trying to find ways to get Robert Downey Jr. to come back and do more Iron Man stuff without literally bringing his Tony Stark back to life. So early theory, they might have been trying to get Robert Downey Jr. to do the voice of a Tony Stark AI for Morgan Stark during her adventures as a version of Iron Man. If you haven't read the comics, they did this whole concept during the Ironheart comic book series where Tony Stark basically backed up his consciousness as an AI and it helped her in AI form. Notice on the other pictures of her car here, she's got Roxxon logos because they're a natural resources company in the Marvel Comics and the MCU. They show up all over the place, like they make gas stations, so of course they'd be associated with racing inside the MCU. They were featured heavily during the first Iron Man movie and during Iron Man 2 when he was actually racing the cars. We actually just saw them show up at a big gas station for Echo too. Notice she is holding one of Iron Man's helmets to identify her as Morgan Stark, like they really want you to know this is an Iron Man-based series. The whole thing with the Zodiac logo on her car might have something to do with the Zodiac villain group of the comics, or it could be something that's totally different. But I think what wound up happening with this series is the whole Doctor Doom Robert Downey Jr. plan basically put the kibosh on this, and Robert Downey Jr. probably would not agree to come back to voice Tony Stark for this live-action series, and Gwyneth Paltrow said that she also was probably not going to come back for Marvel stuff without Robert Downey Jr. If you remember a couple years ago, she said she basically retired from Marvel after Avengers Endgame, but that she would come back if Robert Downey Jr. was coming back and he wanted her to come back too. So it's sort of a contingent kind of thing, and I think this all hinged on them trying to get Robert Downey Jr. back to be part of the series in some way. Supposedly all these first looks existed on the artists that worked for Marvel for a couple years, like it was up for a couple years and just nobody noticed this, along with the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars stuff. Some of the stuff that she put up was also for Loki Season 1 and Loki Season 2. So I think the idea is that this Iron Man 3000 series was something that they were working on a couple years ago before they decided to try and bring Robert Downey Jr. back as Doctor Doom. And when he signed the contract for that, they put the kibosh on all this, like, no, let's get rid of all this Iron Man stuff. We'll do something completely different with all the TV shows. Basically part of their whole plan to completely rework the way they make TV shows and movies. Quality over quantity, and it sounds like a lot of this would have just been playing on the whole popularity of the Iron Man character without a lot of actual Iron Man stuff in it. They could totally bring Morgan Stark back at some other point. They tried to bring the younger version of the actress back for some deleted scenes that we actually learned about during Spider-Man No Way Home as part of the whole plot at the very beginning of the movie where he almost gets arrested by damage control and the authorities. But again, this all just points back to the idea that Marvel wants to bring Morgan Stark back at some point to pay off some of those storylines. They might just wait for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars to wrap some of that stuff up. We will see what Marvel does with that character heading forward after Secret Wars into the sort of X-Men era of the MCU.
If you're happy, I'm happy.
And we'll see if they ever bring back that Harley Keener character too. At the pace Marvel is going, paying off some of these storylines, Harley Keener and Morgan Stark might be in their 40s and 50s by the time we actually see them on screen. But everyone, post all your reactions in the comments below. Are you bummed that they didn't make this Iron Man 3000 series, or do you think that they were right to cancel it? Them getting rid of all this Iron Man adjacent stuff also reminds you of them canceling the Armor Wars series recently. RIP Armor Wars. Like I said, there's a bunch of other stuff that just dropped recently. I'll try to do videos for everything, and we have the Daredevil Born Again episodes starting tomorrow as of me posting this video. Episodes 1 and episode 2 are dropping at the same time. My video for that should post Wednesday morning, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that. Everybody click here for that first look at Avengers Doomsday with God, Emperor Doom, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and click here for that first look at the Fantastic Four Franklin Richards and that new version of Silver Surfer. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.